Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with morsels of the thought number 1481. Today we are on Tuesday. Does it say Tuesday? I hope it says Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, the 21st of January. I have quite a few friends whose birthdays are on the 21st. Today. Happy birthday to you all. You know who you are, of course. This is by the New York Times best-selling authors of The Rules, Fein and Sherrie Schneider. The Rules Handbook, a guide to creating loving and lasting relationships. This is a Bible dual of many, many kinds of relationships. I think the only relationships they don't cover is the one with your dog. Yes, week 3, course 5, week 3, we're on marriage. Now, if this were that film, I'd be saying marriage. Remember that? That film, I can't remember the name of it. It was a parody of some kind, and marriage. And there were other actors in the scene who did not know he was going to do that, and they just collapsed laughing. They had to do 23 takes or something crazy like that to get it done. Um, the Princess and the Princess Bride, I think it was called The Princess Bride, and it was all a parody. It was great. I thought it was a little funny, but that part was a classic film move. However, we are reading about real marriage. Week 3, marriage in course 5. Course 5 is about it says create respectful marriages and partnerships. Your Rules Weekly Pep Talk. We went through this partly last week, but it doesn't hurt to do it again. I know that I can do that because of Ellen Fein. Okay, marriage can be I think I want to say marriage. Sorry. Stop it, Mary. Marriage can be a wonderful union if you realize you are, and no slapstick in your marriages, please, unless you both consent to it. Slapstick, that's what it's called, classic comedy. Okay, Rules Weekly Pep Talk. Seriously, though, marriage can be a wonderful union if you realize you are both on the same team and working towards the same goal. That may be hard to remember when you are angry, hurt, or frustrated with your partner. Experts say people always hurt the one they love, and that could not be more true in the case of marriage. Good morning, Lisors Cantara. How are you? I want to say good morning to those of you who come here, and you know who you are. Tom Krebs, hope you're better. And John Clark. Tom Krebs had an operation on 2 operations actually. So anyway, when your feelings get hurt because you felt your husband criticized or didn't compliment you, you may want to say something mean and hurt him. But we know that taking offense and saying something unkind in response doesn't work long term. It's your lower self looking to win a useless argument with a cheap shot that may feel good in the moment but leaves you with a hangover. Once you reframe the situation and realize that maybe your husband is just trying to be helpful toward his teammate, you'll be able to respond from your higher self. This week, pardon me. Sorry. This week, focus on taking a deep breath when you feel slighted and saying something higher self, like, you may have a point, or thanks for sharing, I'll think about it. Light a candle instead of putting out the flame. Higher self. Marriage, daily rules. Day 281, not so easy. Oh, those words, not so easy. My mom said those words a lot when she was raising me. Not so easy, she said. That marriage is not so easy. Day 281. After we wrote the rules, the authors are saying, many of our readers and clients got engaged or married and asked us for marriage advice. So we wrote the rules for marriage, which is basically the opposite of the rules. We wrote the rules for marriage. Rules for marriage. Let's put this right here. And you were hard to get him, and now you need to be easy to be with to keep him. We said let him win. Don't nag. Don't force him to talk. Don't try to change him. Say yes to intimacy and don't use the D word, divorce, among other rules. Simple but not easy. It's one thing to be light and breezy for a year or two of dating. It's another to be easygoing for the rest of your life, but it's worth it. Don't worry, we'll tell you exactly how to be your higher self with your husband. So, if you haven't already picked this up, The Rules for Marriage, it's actually a really thick book if you look at it. It's pretty thick. And it's got some, like, I'll pick a random page. Don't force him to talk. That's the random page. And one more random page. When you are about to say something negative or nasty to your husband, such as you are so insensitive, count to 5 and say something surprisingly light and trivial, like, I love that tie, or thanks for making coffee this morning. He will be disarmed and pleasantly surprised. Yeah. And it also continues to say, it continues on to say that you remember when you were doing the rules, you counted to 5 before you said yes to a date. Remember? Maybe we don't remember, but whoever is married can have those books as a resource. Day 282. Stop wishing. A common reaction to the rules and the rules for marriage is, I wish it wasn't this way. I wish I didn't have to be a challenge to get him or be a saint to keep him. Right now we're going through not so easy and stop wishing. We wish it wasn't this way either, or like being a saint to keep him. We wish we could do whatever we wanted in the areas of dating and marriage, but that's a useless thought. It's like saying, I wish I didn't have to go to college for 4 years, or I wish I didn't get older. Don't say, I wish. Say, okay, I don't like it, but how do I do it? Rules girls are realists who love results. We don't create a fantasy world where anything goes and sitting around wishing works. It doesn't. I wanted to say something. There was a time that Ellen Fein was on the call and she was telling us something about her husband, something about, I don't think it was this example, but it makes me think of a different example of a husband and a wife. Now, the Ellen Fein's statement brings me to this example. So it's not actually from Ellen Fein, but this example I'm thinking of is when the husband has washed some dishes and hasn't rinsed off the soap, and the wife comes along and says, oh, and it'll be even better next time when you rinse off the soap. You know, that in the back of her mind, she's thinking, idiot. But what she says is not that. You see? So that's what Ellen Fein, her example reminded me of. And she said that part. In the back of her mind, she's thinking, idiot. But in the front and saying something, she's saying something light and trivial, just like that Rules for Marriage book said. And that was a nice random page, too. Day 283, happy husband, happy life. Feminism has been great for giving women better pay and equal opportunities at work, but not so great for dating and marriage. As women became more successful in business, they also became more masculine around men and either stayed single or got married and divorced. For many women, work and money became more important than marriage, and the boardroom became more important than the bedroom. People say, happy wife, happy life, as if women should work and shop all day, get Botox, and audition for a Real Housewives show. This is not the case. It's a happy husband, happy life. When a husband is happy, he stays. When he's unhappy, he leaves or is just miserable to be with. An empowered woman puts her husband first. Now, many times I have read this through the rules that it is actually harder to do a corporate transaction, to make a corporate transaction, than it is to do the rules. No, it's actually harder to do the rules than to make a corporate transaction. And it's also harder to get married than it is to do something corporately complicated. But okay, day 284, discovering diplomacy. Okay, so right now we have been not so easy. Stop wishing, happy husband, happy life. Day 284 is discovering diplomacy. Newly married women are happy until they discover their husbands are secret hoarders, baseball cards, sneakers, broken exercise equipment. They didn't want his stuff touching their pristine space. But you have to be diplomatic. If you demand that he get rid of it, he could leave with all his belongings. Ask him if he wants your help to declutter. If not, give him a man cave or spare room or the garage to store his valuables and close the door. Don't act snobby. It's not like Architectural Digest is coming over magazine. Your marriage is more important than trying to copy organizing guru Marie Kondo. Even Kondo wisely said that her home is messy and she is okay with that because spending time with her husband and 3 children is more important than having a perfectly tidy home. Now, pay attention to that part, okay? Think about that when you want to scream at your husband for leaving dirty socks on the floor and stacks of newspapers in the garage. A lot of women will ask their husbands to help with housework, which apparently a lot of husbands still by default think is a woman's job. It's not. It's both people's jobs. It's the adult responsibilities. It's the responsibility of all the adults in the household to take care of things and keep things tidy. When people speak to each other about it, though, it's better to use the words please and thanks. Really hard, but definitely good to do. Could you please take your laundry into the laundry room? And then when they come back out, you make sure to get their attention and say, thanks, like that. Because people want acknowledgement. That's one of the first needs of a human being is to be acknowledged. And when they go and do something, which ostensibly is for, well, it's for somebody else in their mind. It's really for the whole household, but it's somebody who has requested them to do something. And they go to the laundry room and put their dirty socks there. And now the floor is tidy. You walk back through the floor, and if nobody says thanks to you, you feel as though you've done something for somebody and it's a favor that they owe you back. Well, that's not the case. You really need to take care of the household, whether you're a man or a woman, and if you're a child 12 and over, actually tweens can do it too, to take their laundry to the laundry room and to make their own beds. Tweens can do that too. Tweens are people that are between between the 9 and the teens. 16, 15, 14, 14, 13. Teen is, okay, 13, so 12, 12. So 10, 11, and 12 are called tweens because it starts with 10. On call, day 285. Being married is like being a doctor on call. Your life is not your own. You had planned to put your feet up on the couch, eat popcorn in pajamas, and watch a romantic comedy, but your husband asks if it's okay to invite his brother who just broke up with his girlfriend over to watch a ball game. Do it! Roll out the red carpet and offer to buy the chips and beer. Don't say, OMG, can you watch the game at a bar? I really wanted to chill. He's always breaking up and making up. I can't listen to his girlfriend's drama anymore. When is he going to get married already and leave us alone? Doing the things you don't want to do or that are inconvenient to make your husband happy will win you brownie points down the road. He will never forget it. He will do something equally kind in return one day. Kindness in marriage is like money in the bank. So the thanks is so important that if you skip it, you will find that there's a reason for divorce. There are reasons for divorce all the time if you're not careful with your husband. And I know the opposite. I'm divorced. So I know some of the opposite. It's not good. You may say something, but my ex actually was so mad one time that he actually, he was abusive and said something that was like, that made me win the argument, but I felt a through my hair. And then I turned and looked, and he was still back in his seat like that. He was real quick, and he had done this. So that was a reason for divorce. I mean, the one single movement is enough for me to divorce, and that was why I divorced him. I knew that that would eventually turn into some bad stuff someday. Uh, but it counts. It counts. It counts for everything that you are kind to your husband. Okay, now day 286, intimacy. In the original rules book, they had something about intimacy. Um, I won't say it here because it's day 286, intimacy. Men and women can have very different needs when it comes to intimacy. The more masculine partner usually determines your intimate life. Whether they want it every night or are not that interested, your relationship will grow deeper and more connected if you choose to make time for intimacy. So don't say, I'm not in the mood. Figure out when you will be. We're not saying to grin and bear it, but understand that intimacy is an important part of marriage and that physical connection often leads to emotional connection. So it's a win, 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 win. Higher self. Tell yourself you're lucky to have a husband who is attracted to you and wants to be with you. Discuss when, especially if you work and have children, but try not to say a hard no every time. Maybe you're tired, or maybe you're just being lazy or selfish. That's lower self. Sometimes even a quickie is still better than nothing. Lack of intimacy can lead to feeling like roommates instead of lovers. Such is married life. This Roscantana knows. Conversely, don't force it on your husband if he's not interested. Some women assume all men want intimacy all the time. Not true. Some women have lower drives or are more into work or sports. If you are more into intimacy than your husband, it's fine to initiate in a feminine way as long as you don't get angry if he turns you down. This is interesting because in the first book, there was a part that in the past it was a lot easier to talk about intimacy and the three-letter word that starts with S, and they would say the authors have said that when you are intimate, that you try to think about nothing because that radiates to, it, I can't describe it, but I want to say something about how you can start it in a feminine way. There was one time on National Geographic. Oh my goodness. It was so funny, but so interesting at the same time. This lioness and the lion, and the lion with the mane was there and they were doing it. And then they finished, and then the I want to say cougar, but it was really the feminine, the lioness. The lioness went up to his under his chin, and and went like this under his chin and looked at him and did it again, and that was how the lioness got the male to do it again. And it was so interesting. It was like it was look I was looking at it going, this is how feminine women can do the same thing, you know? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. In a feminine way, there are so many ways you can do. You put on a frilly apron that's white and wear a black dress and put on a little white bonnet that looks like a nurse's cap. And you take a feather duster and then you bend over and you say, Master, I would like to clean your house for you. Is there a dusty table? And then you can start that way too. It is so funny. There are so many ways. I can't describe them because it's probably going to make this an R-rated video. This is already not made for kids. So, you know how on YouTube they say make it made for kids or something. There was one that I read that was made for kids, but here I want to say, if you love my videos or if you like my videos, please go to Ying Orange 99 on YouTube and subscribe to me, like, and say yes. You know, when I don't know, I mean, say you like my videos on any of the platforms that I use. I am trying to do more with YouTube. I have 1,481 videos, but there are only about 400 videos on my YouTube channel. So I am quite behind in transferring the videos over. Is anybody looking for a job? It pays more than minimum wage per hour. So I will talk to you again later. I hope you have an enjoyable day. I try to inspire you to do so, and morsels of a thought of wisdom help you figure out the right things to do. And virtue is the doing of the right things to do, which is, you know, when you put wisdom into action, that is virtue. So we want to make a more virtuous world. I hope I've entertained you just a little bit. And okay, old Kinderhook, the congressman that needed to make everything right.